listening to Turtle Island News live with Tracey Kennedy. What day is this? This is Thursday, all day as a matter of fact, September 24th, 2015. We are live on Revolution Radio, Studio 8. Good morning, everyone. And TurtleIslandNews.info, the Awake Radio Group. I hope everyone's doing well. We've had some incredible events. Now, I realize there were people looking for the apocalypse yesterday, but there's too much going on between now and next year, this time, for anything like that to happen. Let me tell you what did happen yesterday. You could say it was early this morning. It depends. We're in store for quite a bit to happen within the next 24 hours before the 25th. Although every day this month will probably be some sort of event from now on. Now, there was a horrific stampede that killed at least 717, interesting number, pilgrims, and injured hundreds more on the outskirts of the holy city of Mecca, Saudi Arabia, the deadliest tragedy to strike the annual Hajj pilgrimage for more than 2 decades. At least 863 pilgrims were injured in this crash. The tragedy struck as Muslims around the world marked the end of their Eid al-Adha holiday. It is the third major disaster this year in the Hajj season, raising questions about the adequate measures put in place by the Saudi authorities to ensure the safety of roughly 2 million Muslims taking part. Now, a crane collapse in Mecca nearly 2 weeks ago left 111 people dead. Because of that, the Bin Laden family, familiar name, has had their construction license revoked. Now, many of the victims were crushed, trampled to death as they made their way to perform a symbolic stoning of the devil by throwing pebbles against 3 stone columns in Mina, large valley about 5 kilometers from Mecca, that had been the site of Hajj stampedes in the past. Area houses more than 160,000 tents where pilgrims spent the night during the pilgrimage. So, terrible news once again. There was not enough preparation here. What happened was more than they were ready for, obviously. The Hajj poses an immense logistical and security challenge for the kingdom, given the sheer number of thousands of people, millions really, from differing logistical, cultural backgrounds, of course, many of whom have saved for years for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, intent on following the same set of rituals at the same time. Amateur videos shared on social media showed this horrific scene. Once again, scores of bodies. Men dressed in simple terry cloth garments worn during this Hajj, lying amidst the crushed wheelchairs, water bottles along the sun-baked street. Now, the death toll from Thursday's crash far exceeded that of a similar incident in 2006 near the exact same site, where more than 360 pilgrims were killed in a stampede. Another stampede, interesting names that they're calling this, at Mina, 2004, left 244 dead, hundreds injured. Now, the deadliest Hajj happened in 1990. At least 1,400 pilgrims perished in a stampede, overcrowded pedestrian tunnel leading to the holy site in Mecca. The deadliest Hajj related was that one. Now, this crash happened less than 2 weeks after the giant construction crane crashed down on the Grand Mosque in Mecca, focal point of the Hajj. Again, September 11th, accident killed 111 people. Last Thursday, more than 1,000 people fled. An 11-story Mecca hotel right next to it, right close to the clock, and left 2 injured. If that isn't biblical enough, I've got something else. Phoenix, Arizona. The Pope has just performed a miracle. Linda Cassidy, the mother of a 3-month-old daughter, Ava, who, when she pronounces it, sounds like Eve, can find no words to explain what has happened yesterday. Eve was born with Down syndrome, eye problems, hearing complications, 2 holes in her heart. Lynn believes after the Pope's touch, I have on my page something from, I think it's America Today, showing this. He touched the little girl's chest. This baby has been healed. If Pope Francis is actually the false prophet of Revelation, which many believe he actually is, do you think it's possible that the phenomenal miracles that the Bible says the false prophet will perform are just beginning? I'm going to have to look into it. He kisses the baby's forehead, puts his hand on her heart. And that just happened. How about that? Them apples, guys. This is going to be an incredible month. But we need to talk about the covenant, because there's no way around this. There's things happening now, and I was sure. I know everyone said that on the 23rd there was all kinds of predictions, right? Earthquakes, tsunamis, all of those things. But what keeps going on in my head is the 5th wave. Found out recently there's a movie called The 5th Wave coming out very soon. Didn't know that. When we hear stories from pretty much all of the ancient stories, which we will get into again, it said when the return happens, the return of what? I'm going to just say it. The old gods. When they come back, some say trumpets, some say tsunamis, some say a meteor going into the ocean causing a tsunami, but that's a wave. A wave is sound, is it not? As well. A wave is a frequency, and I'm sure you're hearing these frequencies now. We're the ones who are coming together at this point, listening to the same things. You have so many choices of what you could be listening to right now, but you chose to come here with me right now. We know that we're going through an illusion so large and so vast, it has escaped most people's perception. Those that won't see it, there's nothing we can do. And those who do are thought of as insane. They have created separate fronts to prevent us from seeing the connection between us and them. they are behaving as if they're not connected to the same illusion. Their goal will be accomplished one drop at a time, as to never bring suspicion upon themselves. This will also prevent us from seeing the changes as they're occurring. It's too in our faces. It's too obvious. We have been told this can't be happening so many times that a lot of us don't believe what we're seeing, what we're hearing, and what we're feeling. But they have always stood above the relative field, the field of our experience. They know the secrets of the absolute, of the abyss itself, and the light connecting it. They've worked together always and will remain bound by blood and secrecy. Death will come to he who speaks. They have kept our lifespan short, our frequencies low, our minds weak, while pretending to do the exact opposite. They have used their knowledge of science and technology in subtle ways, so that we have never seen what was coming. They have used soft metals, aging accelerators, sedatives in the food, in the water, in the air. We are blanketed by poisons everywhere we turn. These soft metals have caused most to lose their minds. They have promised a cure for many fronts, except they feed us more poison, sometimes in vitamins, sometimes in even sacred plants. These poisons are absorbed through our skin, through our mouths. They are destroying our minds, our reproductive systems. We are practically a frog right now. And even frogs are having problems reproducing. From all this, our children being born dead, and they're concealing all this information. You have to search for it. You shouldn't have to search. We're at a point where we can't assume that some things are good for you. You must assume that everything is not good for you. And the poisons are hidden in everything all around us. In what we drink, in what we eat, in what we breathe, in what we wear, and what we walk on. They've been ingenious in dispensing these poisons. They see very, very far. They have taught us that poisons are good, with fun images and musical tones. Those we look up to, I guess. We've been told they will help. But the people we look up to have been enlisted to push these poisons. We will see these products being pushed in films and will grow accustomed to them. We have never really known their true effects. When we give birth, they inject poisons into the blood of the children, convince us that it's for their help. They're helping us. They start early, when our minds are young. They target our children with what children love most, sweet, sweet things. When our teeth decay, they fill us with metals, more soft metals that kill our minds, steal our future. When our ability to learn has been affected, they create medicine that will make us sicker and cause other diseases, for which they create more medicine that makes us sicker. They render us docile and weak before them. We grow depressed, slow, obese. So that when we go to others for help, they give us more poison. They have focused our attention towards money, material things, so that many never connect with anything inner. They have distracted us with fornication, external pleasure, games, so that there can never be oneness of it all. Our minds belong to them. The majority of us do what we're told, even though we're not quite sure who's telling us to do it. When we refuse, they find ways to implement mind-altering technology into our life. Fear is the biggest weapon. They establish governments and establish opposites within those governments. Both sides are owned by the same beings. They hide their objectives, but carry out their plans. We are carrying out their plans for them. We perform the labor for them. They prosper from our toil. Their families never mix with ours. Their blood stays pure. That is the way of them. They have made us kill each other whenever it suits them. They keep us separated by dogma and religion. They control all aspects of our lives. Tell us exactly how to think and what to think. We are guided, sometimes kindly, sometimes gently, but guided nonetheless, even though most people think they're guiding themselves. They ferment animosity between us, causing more and more factions. When one light starts to shine amongst us, they first try to extinguish it by ridicule. If that doesn't work, it's by death, whatever suits them at the time. They make us rip at each other's heart, kill our own children. They have accomplished this, using hate as their ally, anger as their friend. Hate has totally blinded us. Never shall we see from these conflicts that we are never the ones who win. They keep us busy killing each other. We bathe in our own blood, kill our neighbors, whenever they see fit. They benefit from this. We won't see it. We can't see them. They will continue to prosper with these wars, with these deaths. They shall repeat this over and over and over until whatever it is their ultimate goal is. They continue to make us live in fear and anger through images and sounds. They have used all the tools they have to accomplish this. The tools provided by whose labor? Ours. They've made us hate ourselves, hate our neighbors, and they will always hide the divine truth from us, that we are really all one. This, I guess, is the biggest secret, the thing we must never know. We certainly shouldn't feel that, because if we felt like we were one, we couldn't do these things to each other. We couldn't steal. We certainly could not kill for them. They never want us to know that color is an illusion, and I can listen to 5 minutes of a show and know that, yeah, they've got you fooled. Not some of you, most of you. Well, probably not my listeners. You little renegade, you. You're not drinking the Kool-Aid. But we must always think that we're not equal. Drop by drop, drop by drop, they advance on us, taking over our lands, our resources, our wealth, exercising complete control. They have deceived us into accepting laws that steal the little freedom we have. They have established a money system that can only imprison us forever, keeping us and our children in debt forever. Whenever we try to band together, they accuse us of crimes, present a different story to the world. And they own all the media. They use their media to control the flood and the flow of information and move our sentiments to their favor, never to ours. When we rise up against them, they crush us like insects. They think we're less than that. We are helpless to do anything. We have no weapons now. And some of our own have been recruited to carry out their plans. They probably, who knows what they promise them, eternal life that they will never have, for they're not ever going to be part of them. You know, the people like politicians and even the rich people, they will never, ever be in there. And the ones who leave the Illuminati, there's no way. The real controllers, you don't leave. You don't. I'm sure there's some that they're so frightened and they believe that they were involved in something very top secret. They've been sent out. And I'm sure they're scared. Of course they're scared. They even may be killed. These are not the elite. These are not the children of the elite. The real elite you will not know, you will not meet. There is no chance. There isn't. Whether or not they call these people initiates, and yes, of course, they're indoctrinated into false rites of passage to higher realms, those things don't exist. Not ever are we going to be part of their little secret societies. Not ever. It will never, ever happen. We get that, right? You don't get in. You get grandfathered in. Put it that way. You get grandfathered in. It's the only way in. Other than that, they don't want you. You understand that? So, a false prophet, because that's what it is. That's who he is at this point. They are throwing this agenda in our faces. There's no other way to see it. You know, when I said I'm very, very sure of something, I was very sure that Mecca would be the one to be attacked. I've put up a video. If you get a chance, please go to my page, turtleislandnews.info. I put up something that I wouldn't normally do. It has alien languages on it. Anunnaki, Lemuri, Lyrian, Solarian, common trade language, Asari, probably several others. I'd like you to listen to it. You can judge it false if you like, and it may be. I don't think so, though. I really don't think so, guys. I would like, if you get a chance, for you to listen to it and tell me if these languages are familiar to you. Because to me, I've heard them before. I know a lot of the events going on are the pre-programmed events that they want us to focus on. I also think that this illusion will fade. And what's going to be left will have to be the truth. It's a frequency war that we're fighting. It's not about the money. It's about power and energy. What we're experiencing right now, and I do have lots of news up on the page, but it's not important to us right now. To me, anyway. You'll be told over and over again all day long the news. Because we need to remain emotionally balanced, grounded, calm, as many have told us, and not give in to fear. We don't need to go looking for the next boogeyman. The boogeyman may actually be here. If necessary, at this point, for you to stay grounded, avoid the news completely, maintain a pleasant, nurturing atmosphere. Above all, don't get sucked in to the fake news. Continue to feed the animals. Prolong the war. There's been some events that have happened worldwide, and I'm going to go into this more next week because I have to be sure. But there are 3 lakes, small ones, mind you, not the Great Lakes, that the fish have disappeared, but not over months, overnight. The fish are gone. Fishermen went in there and they're finding nothing. And you know, they have those little fish finder things. Well, it's being posted all over the internet. The fish are gone. And it also looks like some people have just disappeared overnight. All over the world. I mean, kids from hospitals, people in nursing homes, people on the way to work and their car is sitting there and they're just gone. I know what this sounds like, and I hate to say the words, but there's a huge amount of them just gone. And it looks like whatever doing this may have emptied out a animal hospital as well. Took every single animal in there. Not the cages, just the animals. Now, does somebody go in there and let the animals out? Here's a weird thing. This one was in the States, and I'm still looking into it, but the animal cages were locked this morning. They're just gone. So, in the next little while, if you need to, avoid people do that. Oh, see? Now they're coming to get me, too. Coughs. Anything that will drag you down, your frequency, don't let it happen. Don't let them push your buttons, because there are plenties of ninnies out there who get their jollies by just using words against others, saying you're stupid. I realize that everything I'm saying right now sounds stupid. But don't let others spew their negativity all over you, because the milk is separating right now and the cream is rising through the top, and I think some people have just been taken. Good or bad? Probably both. But the better we understand this, the easier it will be to control it. Surf above these lower vibrations. Personally, I feel a huge boost in energy and frequency right now, bordering even on euphoria. I even had a good sleep last night. I don't know, am I turning the tide? Did I ride the wave? Because these things that are happening, they're not an illusion. And if you need a confirmation of this energetic change that we're experiencing, and I know you're feeling it as well, you should be expecting more of it, but scientists, if that's what you need, have already confirmed it. This is big news. It should be encouraged to many that we've been sensing this, that it's identifiable. There's a physical counterpart to this, that our entire cosmos has now become active. I have a video up there on the page. Please take a look at this, and it'll show that our galaxy, our entire galaxy, is awake right now. Now, the 3 orbiting X-ray space telescopes have detected and been detecting an increased rate in X-ray flares from the usual quiet giant black hole in the center of our Milky Way galaxy. After new long-term monitoring, scientists are trying to learn whether this is normal. You can't tell, really, if it's something that's gone unnoticed before due to limited monitoring, or if these flares are triggered by the recent close passage of a mysterious, dusty, fluffy object. Now, by combining the information from long monitoring campaigns by NASA's Chandra X-ray Observatory and the ESA's Newton, with observation by the SWIFT satellite team, astronomers were able to carefully trace the activity of the Milky Way's supermassive black hole over the last 15 years. This is what I've been talking to you about. This black hole, sometimes called Sagittarius A, they will tell you it weighs 50 million times the mass of the sun. We don't know that. They don't know how much this thing weighs. But they're saying the X-rays are produced by a hot gas blowing towards the black hole. It must be magnetic. Most of the readings we're getting right now, whether or not even CERN is admitting it, all of their work that they're presenting us has to do with the electric universe. It's plasma, it's magnetic, it's both. Now this new study has come out saying that Sirius A, Sagittarius A, Sirius is on my mind, has been producing flares about every 10 days. Every 10 days that we've recorded since 2008. However, within the past year, there has been a tenfold increase in the bright flares, about one a day. This increase happened soon after the close approach by a mysterious object that we've talked about before called G2. Now for several years they've been tracking the emissions. So it's reacting like our sun reacts when a large object goes close to it. This includes also the close passage of this dusty object. For lack of a better term, this is what they're calling it. And this is from the Max Planck Institute for Extraterrestrial Physics in Germany. So this isn't some breaky-dink channeling some frickin' entity in cosmos. This is quantifiable. So a year or so ago, they thought that it wasn't having an effect. All the new data say that it absolutely is having an effect, not just on the center of the galaxy, but us, causing flares, causing the whole solar system to change and everything in between us and that. Now, astronomers thought that G2 was an extended cloud of gas and dust. This is what I had called the ribbon, or the fluffy matter. And you can see all kinds of stuff on my site about that. However, though, passing close to this, in late 2013, well, the first appearance, but they thought it was an anomaly, was in 2012, December, but they wanted to ignore it because of the date, obviously. But again, it was confirmed in 2013 that its appearance didn't change much, apart from being stretched slightly by the gravity of the black hole. But this led to new theories that G2 was not just a gas cloud, perhaps a star swathed in a cocoon itself. So, cloaked. Yep, just said it. Because it's an interesting idea here. A cocooned or cloaked star that unexpectedly passes near the massive black hole at the center of our galaxy, which, as we know, is where all the energetic forces emanate from. Maybe even a being. Maybe even that is the actual gate. That could be God, the prima materia. Could be that. Now it enlivens the stars and all the other bodies and all energetically connected aspects in our Milky Way. Everything is powered by that. Now we know that a portion of the stars and that the position of the stars and the planets directly influence our lives. Not just astrology and little houses, but that came about for a reason. We are told this for a reason. How much more, then, do massive energy shifts, pulses, pulsars, coming from that galactic center, the feeding post of our own galaxy, what does that do to you? Now, there have been many ideas about the nature of this energetic change. Many of us have been feeling it for some time. People have called them the truth vibrations, the phase, the ascension. And while it's been recently termed the X-wave, as well as the ascension facilitating energy, whatever, many other things having to do with our spiritual growth, our empowerment by help. It helps us raise our vibrations, hence conscious awareness. And we've seen, remember I told you about the army of 42 and the army of 72 on the way here? That stopped, changed directions altogether. And I know it sounds bizarre. I hate to say it. It sounds so crazy pants. Bear with me. They're here. Are they planets? Are they dust? Are they beings? Are they angels? Are they the reasons why the X flares, those red sprites that are all around the planet? The jinn. I think those are the jinn. Are reacting to raising our frequency. You're not imagining it. It's really friggin' happening. So certainly, hidden science has known about this and other phenomena for a really long time. That information becomes available right now is rather interesting, just as we attempt to put the last pieces of this global takeover in place. They're doing it, we're doing it. Two forces. We know geoengineering agenda had many purposes. It's been thought by many that the chemtrails were being put in place to block this energetic change from reaching us. It cannot exceed, of course, but it may hinder some other influences. I don't know. Now think about CERN with a magnetic force 100,000 times stronger than the Earth's magnetic field, according to their website, what they say they can do. That's a lot of power. Extremely disruptive power. The full use and effects, we don't even know. They don't even know. Is one of CERN's purposes to deliberately tamper with our magnetic field. And is it an attempt to jam whatever's incoming? Maybe even empowering frequencies. Maybe even our space brothers. Maybe even, and I hate to say it, the angels. I know. I know. At least it will alter the very resonance of our planet and everyone on it. It's done that. It's doing that. One thing we can be sure of is their intentions are not for our benefit. Either way, surf's up. These energetic changes emanating from the center of our galaxy, well, they're here. And they're not stopping. And now they're coming daily. And they've been coming daily since at least 2013, I think from November 2012. We certainly can use further empowerment, right? Make sure the universe is supplying it. Remember, this nor anything else will be the kind of cavalry they have told us is coming. I think it's fully up to us to utilize whatever's available to you, and I think it will be individual. I do not look up in the sky and think we will see the fleet, although I think each and every one of us, when we're ready, will be contacted. And I think some of us, it's already happened. I know, very different from me, but I'm pretty sure it's already happened to most of you. These messages, these hidden messages, Obama's speech to the Pope, children of God, and then made a pregnant pause and said, including Christians. Really? We just had an event. Global. Important. We are people of this planet Earth. Had some of the biggest prayer days we've ever had. And it's so rare that these prayer days will conjoin. It doesn't usually happen. Talking about these events, and we're going over them, of course. In Mina, Saudi Arabia. Mina is why, do you remember Dracula? It's why Dracula's love was called Mina. Trampled to death at a street that is 223. So 322, that number that keeps coming in our faces. They're attempting to throw 49 pebbles at one of 3 stone obelisks, Baal's shaft. I know, sounds dirty, but I mean B-A-A-L. And shaft is, you can't make that not sound like you know what. So anyway, the belief here is that the pillar, this obelisk, is possessed by the devil. So aka, that's, you know what it is, boy bits. So by throwing stones, they're attempting to chase the devil away, or to remove his phallus. At the same time, halfway around the world, the fall equinox, Pope Francis was the first to speak to before the Congress. The sun atop the Washington Monument, its shadow stretched to touch the U.S. Capitol dome, symbolically connecting heaven and earth. Probably nothing, right? So again, Pope Francis at the Egyptian obelisk in Washington as he addresses the U.S. Congress. It is, what is a Congress? Congress is also a term for sex. It is a ritual, is it not? So he's addressing Congress at the Capitol. Here's a little secret. Within the Washington Monument is a plaque. You can see George Washington, and above his head is a winged sun disk, symbol of the Egyptian god, the sun god Horus, that I told you about Tuesday. The message In America, Washington is the Son of God. This ritual in America, George Washington, that becomes mortal and a god, not Jesus. And I'm telling you, if I have to apologize to Jesus, I'll do it. I told Gerald, if I owe Jesus an apology, I'll give it to him, because some stuff has friggin' happened in the last couple days. Now, on the ceiling of the United States Capitol Dome is a painting called The Apotheosis of George Washington. The painting depicts America's first official president. He wasn't, but we'll leave it at that for this time. George Washington ascending into the heavens as God, wearing a purple robe of royalty, riding a rainbow like Jesus. Apotheosis means to become God. Hold that thought. Let's take a little break. You're listening to Turtle Island News with Tracey Kennedy, and I will be right back. You can't